What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. I'm your host, Chris, and today we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness mid-credit and post-credit leaks to go over. Now, I want to say just right out of the gate, the source for these does remain unknown. However, several different people are reporting it, and it's definitely some food for thought. They are interesting post-credit scenes, and I could see both of them actually happening. With that being said, huge potential spoiler warnings moving forward. If these post-credit scenes are both accurate and what happens, there are major implications and spoilers for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, so do not continue if you absolutely don't want any of that. So we're going to go over the leaks and talk about what they could potentially mean for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and for the future of the MCU as well. And then, of course, let me know if you think this is what the post-credit scenes are going to be, or if you think that these are just completely made up and some troll on the internet put them out there to get us all talking about it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. We're talking all major movie and television news, you know the drill, and with daily uploads, I'd hate for you guys to miss out on any of the awesome things happening in the movie and TV sphere right now. So turn on that notification bell and join the community. So for starters, we have a mid-credit scene. This leak is saying there are two post-credit scenes, a mid-credit and an end credit, which is something Marvel has done several times. One usually has to do with the film, and one usually has to do with the future of the MCU, sometimes teasing a big bad or a forthcoming issue that is going to have to be resolved. We can use Shang-Chi as a perfect example. During the post-credit scenes for Shang-Chi, we saw that Ten Rings was existing through his sister, and then he was brought in by Wong, and Bruce Banner was there, Captain Marvel was there, and they were teasing that there's some type of ominous power coming from the rings. It's unidentified, it's ancient, it's a lot older than the rings were used by his father. So we have this big, huge foreshadowing event that their rings have a deeper connection to the MCU, and then we had the other one, which was simply, hey, there's going to be a continuation of the 10 rings, and it's going to be run by somebody new. So it's kind of the same thing here, and I want to start with the mid-credit scene, where it says specifically, Doctor Strange is sleeping after the events of Multiverse of Madness, and has a nightmare, where he sees himself training an apprentice, a ruined New York City, a dead Wong Dormammu sister Umar, and a glimpse of Kang the Conqueror. He then wakes up with a third eye and hears the voice of Clea, played by Charlize Theron, saying, "Help me." So there's a lot in this post-credit sequence here that is very interesting and definitely could lead from the ending of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's definitely a continuation of what happened in this film. And let's just start off by talking about Clea. Who is Clea? Well, it's mentioned in this plot leak, or rather post-credit leak, who Umar is, and that is the sister of Dormammu. Clea is the daughter of Umar, making her the niece of Dormammu, and specifically, she becomes the Sorceress Supreme of the Dark Dimension. She has incredible mythical powers and energy, and she is also a very powerful sorceress. She has the ability to throw magical bolts of energy, conjuring objects and energies, teleporting, telekinesis, controlling others' minds, casting illusions, and presumably she's capable of replicating any spell performed by Doctor Strange. Now in the comics, Doctor Strange is also her mentor, so it could be this mentor that he's seeing in this dream. And it specifically says in the leak that he has a nightmare where he sees himself training an apprentice, and then he sees a ruined New York City, a dead Wong, and Dormammu's sister, the mother of Clea, Umar. So based specifically off of what we know from the comics and what we know about Clea, Dormammu, and Umar, I'm going to say that this character who he is training, this apprentice of his, is Clea, as it is mentioned here, who says, "Help me." There is something interesting as well here. It talks about a dead Wong, which means Wong will not die in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. For many of you, that might not come as a surprise and seem pretty obvious. Wong's an important character. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. What are the odds that he's going to die? I actually have a theory that I've had since Spider-Man No Way Home, when Wong came out and said, "I am the Sorcerer Supreme," and we saw Doctor Strange say it was by a technicality, that it was because Doctor Strange wasn't there. He was blipped for 5 years. And we all know Doctor Strange is going to become the Sorcerer Supreme one way or another. I actually believe somewhere down the line, I thought it was going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, maybe even, Wong will die, sacrificing himself, or by some means leaving the position of Sorcerer Supreme open and falling to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange right now is one of the most important characters in the MCU. We've seen him in multiple different facets. His powers, knowledge, and abilities make him a very important character in continuing the future of the MCU. He's not going anywhere necessarily anytime soon, and he definitely will have the role eventually of Sorcerer Supreme. So Wong dying is also kind of a given for me, but the fact that they would reveal this in a post-credit scene as a dream, as something to happen in the future, because these events will be happening later on, they're not necessarily dreams as much as they are premonitions, it's very interesting that that's mentioned. It also throws in there a glimpse of Kang the Conqueror. Now this is clearly a very important addition, and Kang the Conqueror is going to be the forthcoming big bad who will be in multiple separate movies. We've already seen him in Loki through He Who Remains and a statue of him in the new TVA. We know Loki Season 2 will be coming, which will definitely have something to do with Kang the Conqueror. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to have his first official appearance in the MCU. So the quantum realm, traveling through time, the multiverse, all of that is going to be very important for Kang the Conqueror's storyline, and Doctor Strange will certainly have something to do with that, especially following whatever happens in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where he will have a better grasp on how the multiverse works. And if it does happen that he will become the Sorcerer Supreme, it will be part of his responsibility to protect the MCU's reality and protect any threats coming from different multiverses, including Kang the Conqueror. So yes, this was a very short paragraph that threw a ton of different things in there, including Dormammu's sister, Umar, her daughter Clea, who is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Realm and apparently an apprentice of Doctor Strange, as we've also seen in the comics. And then of course inclusions of Wong's death, Kang the Conqueror, a destroyed New York City, which definitely is no surprise. And overall, I do think this is for sure something we will see. So I hope that this is just a very brief detail, and we will actually get more details in the actual post-credit scene when that does come on. The next one is the end credit scene, and this one's going to be the one that leaves a little bit of foreshadowing, and definitely based off of what they show us, it is sure to get people excited. Again, doesn't come as much as a surprise to me, and I'm definitely alright with this being a post-credit scene. Saying, end credit scene, Deadpool, along with Cable, Domino, and Vanessa, are exploring the Illuminati facility due to the Illuminati's multiversal gates being left open after the Wanda fight. Deadpool's joking with the bodies of some members, including making a reference to The Office. Deadpool makes a joke fourth wall break about Patrick Stewart's Professor X being dead again for the third time. There were a few things here that originally threw me off. The mentioning of Cable, Domino, and Vanessa all entering the MCU seemed a little unlikely. I thought for sure Deadpool would be joining and maybe one other, but I did not expect Domino, Cable, and other characters to be joining. Vanessa seems like a no-brainer. That's kind of his purpose for living, and his motivation to do everything he does is to be with Vanessa, so she has to come. Deadpool wouldn't leave the Fox universe without her. So Vanessa and Deadpool coming through made perfect sense, but Domino, Cable, and these other characters seemed a little far-fetched. However, exploring the Illuminati facility, which is where they ended up, through a portal that got left open after the Wanda fight, that's exactly how I thought Deadpool would enter the MCU. That makes perfect sense, and I'm completely fine with that. Deadpool making jokes, making office jokes, breaking the fourth wall, and talking about Patrick Stewart, also very expected from Deadpool. The ending, however, is pretty crazy. He makes a joke about Patrick Stewart's Professor X being dead again for the third time. Now, if this is true, and it does feel like something that for sure could be true, that's a major spoiler for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Patrick Stewart, who I guess is probably playing a separate variant then, not Professor X from the Fox universe, but a different variant of Professor X, is going to die at the hands of Wanda. Wanda attacks the Illuminati. We know this, and I am very certain that this is going to happen. I was questioning whether or not she would actually kill everybody, and the rumor does say she is going to destroy them all. She's going to take them all out. I thought maybe Patrick Stewart would escape and it was the Patrick Stewart from the Fox universe, but perhaps it's not. It's a different Patrick Stewart who will end up dying at the hands of Wanda, making her a very intense character in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Not a surprise, but just very hard to wrap your head around. Wanda single-handedly defeating the entire Illuminati and killing Patrick Stewart's Professor X, whether from the Fox universe or a variant of the character, that is no easy feat. And it is going to be insane to watch on the big screen, and very hard to wrap my head around. This does, however, as well as the mid-credit scene, seem like something we for sure could see at the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So far, nothing here really contradicts plot leaks that we've heard from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and if anything, they kind of help support the fact that they exist. Wanda destroying the Illuminati, Doctor Strange becoming the Sorcerer Supreme after the death of Wanda, these are all things we've heard. So although I cannot confirm for you that these will for sure be the post-credit scenes, I definitely see both of these things happening, and I can't wait to see Deadpool in the MCU. The inclusion of other characters does throw me off a little bit, but I guess it's alright if he brings friends. He's gonna have a whole third movie, and we would need to see some familiar faces. Cable being Thanos, definitely gonna have a lot of Deadpool jokes there. The inclusion of Vanessa does not come as a surprise, and I guess out of X-Force, the Domino character was probably the most loved, and I guess that's why she's coming too. Overall, guys, post-credit scene sounds insane. A lot of crazy stuff headed our way in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We've been talking about this movie for a while, and when it does finally come to us, we'll have all of the answers. And if the answers are Deadpool's going to be in the MCU, Strange is going to have to deal with Clea, and a lot of other crazy stuff continuing with Kang the Conqueror, I'm very okay with that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, do you think these will be the post-credit scenes we will be seeing in the film? Are you okay with that? Let me know down below. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.